Thank you. It's great to be with you tonight. Thank you for taking time to come out. I wish it was better news of the state of the state. I think things are in a very difficult situation down in Springfield right now. As bad as I've ever seen, worse than I've ever seen, where we're at currently. I've been down in Springfield now a little over 11 years, 8 years in the House, and now in my 4th year in the Senate. And it's very, very frustrating how serious our problems are, and yet how little is being done to address the real needs and the real problems of the people of Illinois. Penny talked a little bit about the question of difference that I see between Bogoyevic's leadership and now Quinn's leadership down in Springfield. I don't see a lot of difference in the actual output of what's happening there. There's certainly a difference in personality, and that's appreciated. Governor Quinn is much more present. Governor Bogoyevich, the only time we knew he was in Springfield would be on the 10 o'clock news to see a press release, in the Blue Room down there. He would sneak in to the Capitol, have a press conference, and sneak back out again without legislators or anybody else really knowing that he was there. And would fly back and forth daily from Chicago to Springfield. At least Governor Quinn has been there and been more active, and I give him credit for that. The problem is, I think, really how so much power is concentrated in just a couple people's hands down in Springfield right now, and I think that causes much of the problems that we're struggling with. And that's Mike Madigan, who's Speaker of the House, and John Cullerton, who's President of the Senate. Especially Mike Madigan. Mike Madigan's been down in Springfield for 40 years now. 30 of those years he's been Speaker, and I think all of you would agree that's just not healthy to have one person that much in charge for more than a quarter of a century, almost a third of a century, to have that kind of power is unhealthy. And we see that now with Governor Quinn, where I get the sense, and I think Kay would agree with this, that so much of what is done is directed by Mike Madigan, and they really decide, Madigan and Cullerton decide if they're going to let the governor know what they're really going to do or not, whether he's going to be a part of it or not. And so that's the problem. We need, I think we need a strong leader in the governor's office, someone who's really standing up for all the people of Illinois, not just a few districts in Chicago. And we're seeing that over and over again, where it just feels like it's a weighted emphasis on leadership from Chicago right now. And we need some changes there. It's bad, and we knew it was bad really from day one. I think one of the biggest frustrations that I have, and again, I think Kay would agree with this, is we knew from January 1st, or our first day down this year, as it has been in previous years, that our budget is in very, very bad shape. And many of us have been pushing to make that our #1 priority, to focus on the budget from day one, look at what are the revenues that we have. Let's live within our means. Let's have that idea that we can't spend money that we don't have. And we're not getting that out of Springfield right now. There's an assumption that this is how much we spent last year, so how much more are we going to spend this year? And it's really a backwards way of thinking. You and your household can't do that. You can't think of, well, I spent this much last year, so I'm going to spend this much next year, more next year. No, you need to look at how much am I going to make this year? Is my salary going to be the same or less or more? And then determine from what your revenue is of what your budget should be. And unfortunately, we don't do that at all in the current leadership down in Springfield. Instead, it's a baseline of where we were last year, and then we build on top of that. So it really becomes an incentive for directors of departments to spend as much as they can to make sure they spend all of the money that they had last year, and then push for more so that they can have increased amounts that they have year after year. And it's really a backwards way of thinking. It's an upside-down way of thinking. We should have leadership that's encouraging our directors to be as accountable as they possibly could be with the money that we send to Springfield, and to show that what is being most effective, that's where more and more money is going to go, where programs are being effective, where they're really helping people. In areas that are not effective, that we're identifying those, that our leaders in our different departments are identifying those and letting us know as legislators, maybe this made sense 20 years ago, but it doesn't make sense now. We need to cut this. We need to get rid of this. Right now, what's happening is often the programs that are least effective are being hidden from us. And when there are cuts, they go after cuts that are the most dramatic cuts. So it's cutting people with disabilities, funding for people with disabilities, or cutting education funding that's going into our classrooms. So it's really trying to make headline cuts rather than efficiency cuts of what really makes the most sense for the direction of our state and what needs to be our top priorities. So that's something I've been pushing for in my time down there. It's a struggle in the Senate right now, and it's a struggle in the House as well. But the Senate especially, we're in a super minority status as Republicans in the Senate. Currently there's 22 Republican senators, 37 Democratic senators. So really anything that the Democratic leadership would want to pass, and